All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode, 96,000 subscribers episode of Ushanka Show Live. I decided maybe we should do quickly cover 96,000 because recently one of my videos kind of went a little bit viral, not crazy, but a little bit. So it's almost 97,000 right now. So I decided might as well get this out of the way. So I hope we have some people joining. So once again, Ushanka Show Live, your questions, you can post in live comment. Please let me know the sound is okay. Just want to make sure everything is all right. And before we begin, I would like to thank, I had several cards, Christmas cards came in the mail for Ushanka Show. So I want to say thank you to Michelle and her husband Richard from West Virginia. That was very nice. Get me a card. I appreciate that. And also, I got a couple of cool cards for one of my Canadian subscribers. He is traveling right now all over the world. So one came from Japan and one came from Finland. So this is from Finland and this one is from Japan. So that's really cool. Thank you. I collect postcards. If you would like to send me a card from your country, although about 50% of my viewers are from the United States. Let's see, for some reason, okay. So there's the address, Ushanka Show, PO Box 96, Beer Springs, Michigan, 49103 USA. So yeah, we got Finland now, and so anyway, 96,000 is pretty exciting. We're kind of crawling slowly towards 100,000. And we got first question about my Christmas. It was fine. I'm not a big fan of American Christmas. I call it American because back in the Soviet days, we did not celebrate Christmas at all. The religious Christmas was in January, so there was no celebration till the new year, and I already have a video about it. I can post really quick. I have a video about top 10 holidays. Top 10 should come up. So this is in case if you missed it, top 10 holidays. So this is the video about top 10 holidays. So yes, Christmas was strictly religious holiday, and after the new year, because it's a switch in the calendars after the revolution of 1917, we got even some people, Alexei from New York, so we got some people who speak Russian. So yeah, it's a kind of, and it was a strictly religious. People go to church, they stay, pray there all night, they bring their food items to be blessed, they walk around outside the church and singing hymns to the newborn king. And it was hush hush because officially, religion in the Soviet Union was not like a big thing. So yeah, we got several people, looks like from Brooklyn too. Okay, I'm on Ushanka Show. I was thinking maybe by any chance I got on my Russian channel. So anyway, so super exciting about getting close to 100,000 subscribers. That's a kind of big deal considering the fact that my channel is super kind of narrow. Niche. It's not really covers interest a lot of people. So, and while you're watching, please don't forget to like this stream. It might attract more attention. And I think maybe Ushanka Show needs a little bit of this, and maybe needs a little bit of perestroika. I received this brochure from Shane, one of my viewers from Florida. Thank you so much, Shane. I appreciate it. It actually was published in Soviet Union back in 1989, so 2 years before Soviet Union went belly up, and it's pretty much kind of brochures that explains to the foreign public what is perestroika is about. And this is actually what Soviet scientists talk about perestroika. And I thought it was interesting. I wanted to read you this message because a lot of people say, Gorbachev was a CIA spy. It was all, big operation to destroy Soviet Union. This is what Mikhail Gorbachev is saying in his Perestroika brochure. We want to be understood, stressed Mikhail Gorbachev, addressing foreign readers in his book Perestroika, New Thinking of Our Country and the World. We are conducting all our reforms in accordance with the socialist choice. We're looking within socialism rather than outside of it for the answers to all the questions that arise. So this official statement from Mikhail Gorbachev that Perestroika is not restoration of capitalism. Perestroika is attempt to switch the blocks around, reconstruction, and out of the same blocks build totally different building, which is more successful. So that's kind of interesting brochure. I want to read it more, but it was kind of funny. So and I'm going to check in your questions. We got Jake from Florida. Hello, thank you for being a member of my channel. I appreciate that. We got Wisconsin. And I'm keep on buying. I need to stop, but I'm keep on buying books about early stages of the Soviet Union. So my recent purchases, I think one of the viewers recommended Before and After Stalin by Eino Kuisin. So she was a wife of a famous Finnish communist that spent pretty much most of his life in the Soviet Union, and this is her recollection. So I just bought that. I found it on eBay. Other book I stumbled upon reading other book is Coming Out of the Ice. They actually have a movie based on this book. So that says TV special done on it. So this is kind of similar to Robert Robertson, My 44 Years in Red Russia, Black on Red. And this guy got stuck for 47 years and he ended up going to Gulag labor camp. So his story is more movie intense to say. I'm surprised they didn't do another movie, but yeah, he got in way more trouble, but he managed to get out the Soviet Union also after when Brezhnev was at power in 70s. So that's my second book. And this one I just got on the library exchange, Tankograd. And someone said me there's a PDF available online, but this is kind of like research paper about factories in Chelyabinsk. There were three major tractor factories built in the Soviet Union by Americans. One in Kharkiv, Ukraine. That one was by International Harvester. One in Stalingrad, that one was by Caterpillar. And Chelyabinsk was like a joint project because originally, I think was supposed to be like super secretive tank factory that the Soviets wanted to build themselves. But then they failed. They had problems, so Stalin got mad and he hired Americans and like other foreigners to do Tankograd, which is officially was a tractor factory, but Tankograd tank, so it's the city of tanks, although officially it's a Chelyabinsk tractor factory. So this is kind of interesting, just research on that topic, so I'm going through that. So that's what I'm reading right now. So that's a lot of going on. It's kind of exciting to learn all the stuff that never taught us in the history lessons. So there's comment from Anders. Someone wrote you ought to bake bread at 100,000. Yeah, I can try. Usually my wife does all the baking, but maybe I can pretend like I'm baking because my wife is a really good cook and she makes really good bread. And as I said, the only bread I remember my mom making it's on for Easter, Pascha. And as someone from Finland told me, the word Pascha in Finnish actually means crap. So this is interesting, kind of. Oh, we got Leslie from Texas. That's awesome. There's a question. Fictitious construction point for mileage-based airfare to Moscow. Hear of that? I'm not sure what you're asking here. Oregon here. So yeah, looks like we got quite a few people joining. So thank you so much. So there is a comment from Florida, Jake. I guess you're from Florida. I watched a video about Soviet truck drivers and was blown away by what I learned. Me being a truck driver myself, and that was first video of yours that I've watched and been a fan since then. Thank you so much. Hey, we got South America joining from Buenos Aires. I wonder if Federico, what do you think about your new president? This is kind of interesting trend right now going on in the world. A lot of countries electing this populist style people. United States elected Donald Trump that had zero experience being a politician. Then we got Argentina. I think some other countries did the same. So that's kind of interesting that there's something going on with economies, with the world, that people going to such extremes and elect people. So I don't know, this whole idea about putting Argentina on American dollar. And I think he just announced he doesn't want Argentina to be part of BRICS, which is it's probably a sad day for Putin. Okay, so next question. What is your opinion on the removal of Soviet monuments? It's a great question, and I don't have, I don't think I have mixed feelings about that. There's some monuments that present historical value. I would like to have those preserved, maybe moved somewhere in a different location, but preserved. For example, in downtown Kiev, in the center, we had two monuments for Lenin. And first of all, Lenin never visited Kiev, like never. And they made giant museum also of Lenin in Kiev. So one monument was a smaller red granite monument, and it has interesting history. It's actually was in New York in 1930s, early 1930s, when there was a World Fair in New York. That monument was there. They brought all the way from the Soviet Union, and then they took it back after the show. The show was over, although show must go on. The monument was in storage somewhere during the war. And then they were looking for a place to put it somewhere, and they decided to put it in Kiev, right across from the Bessarabka, like a city market, bazaar. So that monument had an interesting history, and it got destroyed when crowds were getting angry with the. I think it happened around 2014 when Russia, occupied Crimea and started trying to occupy Donbass area. A lot of people, nationalist kind of mood, they destroyed that monument. So that one I would like to keep just because it has history. I don't know about returning back to Russia, but maybe have some kind of museum of all that Soviet history. It's still part of the Ukrainian history, unfortunately, do you like it or not. But then there was another monument, right, next to, used to be called this Red October Revolution Square, and then they got renamed to Independence Square, the so-called Maidan, right? Because Maidan, it's the square in Ukrainian. And that was humongous, huge monument, also kind of red granite. There was a Lenin and the workers around him. That one, yeah, it could be taken down and thrown away, but some of them have value. And for example, I would like to remove the giant motherland lady in Kiev, because I think that's one is most ridiculous one. Like personally, changing symbols on the shield, it for me it doesn't do anything. It needs to be taken down. So that's my opinion on those monuments. So some of them have value and some don't. And it was so ridiculous because pretty much any town in the Soviet Union had to have a monument for Lenin, full body monument or just his head. It's kind of ridiculous. But so there's donation. First donation, by the way, if you like to feel generous tonight, there is a dollar sign on the bottom, and you can throw some money your way, my way, your money, and I will answer a question ahead of anybody else. You will have a priority. You'll be ahead of the line. You're gonna jump очередь. Will you view on 1980 Olympics be on the channel? Yes, I'm planning to do something. There is a topic of the miracle on ice needs to be discussed, which all not relates to Olympics. There is a topic of a Soviet miracle on the basketball court needs to be discussed. Maybe there'll be one video. And Olympics of 1980, I already replied to people who asked me this question. I spent every summer in the village. In 1980, I spent, of course, again in northern Ukraine with my grandparents who didn't have a TV. They never owned TV, so I didn't watch Olympics. I remember seeing later the closing, when the bear was flying away on balloons. And I remember that song "До свидания, Москва, до свидания," but that's pretty much it. I wasn't watching Olympics, and I was only 9-year-old at that time, so Olympics weren't like a big deal. We got a comment from Michael. I love your channel. I did many trips to Moscow and Kiev from 2007 2009. Fascinating content. Спасибо. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we got Florida Jake. Thank you so much. You're very generous. You got a donation. And he's talking about, I also watched your video on the Soviet vending machines the other day as well. Those things were germaphobes' nightmare. And that's true. But that was also a great video, and those Soviet sodas actually sound like they will be really good. You know, there's a couple of things, hate that word, that we had in Soviet Union that now I'm looking back and thinking about it, and I'm shocked. Like it never bothered me. Like I was drinking used community glasses at those pop machines and just turning them around and pushing and spraying them with cold water. For some reason, it sounded just like a this what you do, and then you kiss the whole neighborhood, you know, drinking that soda. So yeah, the people were exchanging saliva all the time by those machines, and there's so many pictures. There's lines of people. You know, lady has a drink, then the guy goes psh, psh, has a drink, and if by any chance you missed that video, I will put it in the link too. But yeah, thank you for mentioning. Quenching trust and communal glasses. Okay, so yep, right here. Well, I actually have two of them. I might combine and make a one big one. So this is right here coming up. So yeah, there's a couple things when I'm like, my goodness, why is it never bother me? And speaking of soda or pop, there's another thing I learned in America that you guys are calling carbonated drinks. In Michigan and Midwest, it's usually pop. Down south is soda. Somewhere it's a Coke. Oh no, down south is Coke, like Sprite Coke. Pretty interesting. So yeah, we might even have 100 people joining tonight. Super exciting. So yeah, don't forget to like the stream. Maybe we'll get some more people. As I said, right now my latest video about bread, it brought a lot of attention. It's almost going close to 50,000 views and quite a few subscribers. So once again, the YouTube 44,000 views. So yeah, it's a mystery. I can't figure out why and how it does, but it's impressive. And that video by itself, I had 413 new subscribers of that video. So it's I don't understand, but we'll take it the way it comes. So so the comment from Argentina again from Federico about his new president. Let's just say it's far better than it's been in place for a century. I'm sure you can relate to that. Well, you guys went through a military dictatorship in Argentina. And I remember actually I was cheering for you guys. Well, the whole Soviet Union was during the Falkland Island debacle. The whole Soviet Union was supporting Argentina at that time. So question about Pascha. Yeah, I'm not sure, but in Finnish, Pascha, it means crap in like rude words or shit. I was told. But otherwise, well, another thing, in Bulgarian language, putka, it's a bad word for female, so vagina. So the last name Putin, Bulgarians usually grinning because Putin and putka, so it's kind of like, yeah. So, Florida Jake, another generous donation. Thank you so much. Germs aside, though, those Soviet soda machines were probably a welcome sight on a really hot day. Saliva from the others be damned. And drink from one of those. I would drink from one if I would be thirsty, though. Well, some people who were germaphobes, they had their own little portable, like folding cups. They call it tourist for tourists. But yeah, you just don't think about it. And similarly, if you go in any I had a video about it, stores that was selling fruits and vegetables, and always had this funky smell because you had some potatoes rotting or beets rotting somewhere. But they also would open a big 3-liter jar of juices and then they pour you per glass. And I personally always like tomato juice, but same thing, I don't think they used hot water and soap washing those glasses. They'll just probably switch them with water too, so you pay 10 kopecks. That was the price of tomato juice and drink it. So it was definitely, we've been not the cleanest, healthiest society, but I guess you can get herd immunity. Uh, like some of members of my family right now, they trying to wash their hair not as often because it's not good to wash your hair every day. And I was like, well, I used to do it once a week. So for me, it's not really a big challenge, although I don't know if I can do for a whole week. And we got a donation from Noah Grechowski. I thought it's almost like the famous Canadian ice hockey player. I love your videos. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I'm actually working right now. My next video will be about small towns of the Soviet Union. So this is what kind of I wonder if any of you know what that means. Post it in the comments. I'll be talking about it in the video. So this is how my, uh, I write the little audio snippets and I find pictures for them. So this is how I work on this pretty pink paper. So there'll be a story about the life in the small towns in the Soviet Union. And I also learned something myself. I asked my American colleagues, I was like, do you have a word that describes some like small town, middle of nowhere, nothing going on, and they said it's a Hicksville. So if you want to say that you live somewhere small town, you live in Hicksville. Well, Mukhasransk, it's how they use it in Russia and Soviet Union too, probably. Okay, so there's a David saying that in Budapest they put Soviet monuments in special park. Yeah, I mean it still has historical value. Is you can remove the words from the song, as we say, those slova из песни не выбросишь. So I have mixed feelings, as I said. Kiev is the birthplace of Slavic people. Well, kind of like a main Slavic culture, so it makes sense they try to Leninize the place after Lenin's death. Well, they amount of towns that had a Lenin name, amount of factories and collective farms that had Lenin name is just insane. It's pretty much they decided we also need Jesus. So the Soviet Jesus was Lenin. So it's everywhere you go, every town will have at least one Lenin Street, like Main Street in America. So there's a comment from Alex. He says, let's see, it just jumped. I love what they did in Lithuania. They took all the Soviet monuments and brought them to one park in Druzhinska. It's a park of Soviet sculpture. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. People will be more than happy to go and visit and explore because there's a specific styles through the years. They change, Stalin, Khrushchev, Brezhnev. So yeah, I think it has value. But of course, when angry people, they just want to destroy. Similarly, when the Soviets came in, they destroyed all the monuments for the Tsars. I mean, most tons of those too. So history goes in circles, unfortunately, a lot. Topic of building Sheremetyevo. I'm not sure if what's interesting about Sheremetyevo, but I flew out of that airport several times. Здравствуйте, love listening to your shows on my morning cycles. That's interesting. Morning cycles. Question: have you watched King of the Hill? No, I think I watched maybe one episode, but I don't really watch much TV and the shows like cartoon shows. The only one I was forced to watch is the episode. I don't remember which show, but that was about shake weight. The guys they forced me to watch it, and so I watched that. Where are you going to put the 100K subscriber marker? Well, I think to have about 3 months. Although you never know. Right now, YouTube's saying that right now it's almost 1.8 thousand subscribers per month, so it will be less than 3 months. But if this long breadlines video will die out, usually it's about 500 people per month adding up. So safe bet about March. If you like, it may be February. But as I said, I don't want to get my hopes up because I had that last February. Channel just took off like crazy and then just bloop and YouTube carried me and then like dropped it like a hot potato and then like views dropped down drastically. It's crazy. it's amazing that not many people actually search for specific topics, but a lot of people watch what YouTube feeds them. So it's a lot of like a passive watching, and I believe I'm not being really shown in the searches because you'd assume with over 900 videos on the topic of Soviet Union, I should be all over the place. When people like, I'm so surprised I found you. I was looking for this topic I couldn't find. So yeah, it's pretty wild. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm alive today, because we have only about 200 subscribers left till 97,000, and I'm home tomorrow, so I'm planning to celebrate New Year because I said it's the biggest holiday. So I think I will be. I don't know if my wife will let me go another live tomorrow. So we probably won't. It'll be next year. Next year we'll have a live sometimes, and I'm gonna try to do live for my subscribers. It's one of the way you can support my work is to become a subscribe. I guess that's called subscriber of the Ushanka show, and I need to do more exclusive content for those guys that are willing to pay money. Right now, I just show my videos like in advance. They could watch it without commercials and before it goes public for everyone. So anyway, so that's the plan, but yeah, I doubt. Okay, so another donation from Florida, Jake. So you are the most generous. You're my Santa Claus. You're my Ded Moroz. You're my Grandpa Frost tonight, bringing presents. Were there any wait stations for trucks on the Soviet highways? No, I don't think we had any. I don't recall seeing any. It was just pretty much one country. Like there was no borders between Ukraine and Russia. So, like wait stations between the states, right? We had zero, definitely like no borders at all. Like you drive, because I live pretty close to the border with Russia and Belarus in the northern Ukraine. There's actually a point where we got three roads right there come together, and yeah, you just drive. Okay, now it's Belarus. So yeah, there were no wait stations. And when I was here in Michigan, I did a little bit of moving, and I discovered wait stations and how much headache there could be. Of course, they usually don't stop small trucks. Like I had a 24 footer under CDL, so but still, I was told like you better drive around, see if you can bypass them. So anyway, yeah, no wait stations in the Soviet Union. Maybe only on the border was like going to Poland. Uh, so, and by the way, yes, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope next year war in Ukraine will be over somehow, but I really doubt, because it's kind of situation when Russia can't win and Ukraine doesn't want to give up. So this kind of like that patовая ситуация, like chess. So no matter you do, it's just gonna people gonna die and blood gonna get spilled, and pretty much the only hope that Putin will die soon, because I don't see any other way out of it. It's just Putin is hoping that Ukraine will cave in, and Ukraine just hoping to get some kind of like scenario of 1904 war between Japan and Russia, when Japan technically had no chance to win against mighty Russia, but Russia collapsed, revolutions and everything else, and Japan ended up winning. Okay, let's see what else we got. Your questions. So we got a comment one again from Alex. He definitely knows what Mukhasransk is. He growing up in Ryazan region, so small town in Russia is Mukhasransk, which is a kind of amazing, more powerful word, because Mukhasransk means like a fly shitville. That's what to be translating. The question: have you heard of the bust of Lenin in Antarctica? No, I didn't. I wouldn't be surprised, but I know there was always socialist art, and they had a science fiction socialist realism. So they had like art of the Soviet cosmonauts on the moon chiseling the monument of Lenin, his face on the moon rock. So yeah, it's pretty wild. Okay, so yeah, we got another question. The question: what is that song you use in the start of every episode? So uh, that's the guitar tune was recorded specifically for my channel by one of the musicians in St. Petersburg. But the video itself, I'll have to hold on. It's called Подмосковные вечера, I think the official name. It's evenings near Moscow. I'll post the link. Let's see, just a second here. And that's a song. It's a really good tune, but of course now with the war, it's kind of have mixed feelings. There it is. This one is there's several performers singing this song. This is from 1956. Link right here. Ushanka tune, I will call it. No, it's not Ushanka tune, but I said the guitar tune, it was recorded by a musician for me. Actually, he had also a heavy metal version. It's kind of pretty cool. So here we go. Link in the below in the comments. Question: where you live? Right now, I live in Michigan. Right here. If you know you live in Michigan, if you use the palm of your hand to show where you live. Okay, we got another donation from Phil. Thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity, and merry late Christmas and happy New Year to you as well. I have a cover with many Ukrainian stamps on it. If you would like to use it in a video, let me know. Yeah, sure. If you want to mail it, and I can mail you back. And I actually had a couple of envelopes came. My brother sent me some, so I'm planning to make a video, but this is a modern day. So of course, now it's not what usually you see on the Ukrainian envelopes, but yeah, it's my brother picked a bunch for me and sent it here. So yeah, it's everything about war, unfortunately, right now. So different military branches, and of course, I think most of them he put. Yeah, so yeah, I got postal cards. So yeah, it's a lot. Well, it's to support military effort of Ukraine. Yeah, it's one of the most insane. Like I would never imagine I'll be talking 2023 about war going on between brothers. Well, not really brothers. Oh, that's a. I don't know if you heard. That's that famous dog Patron that helps with finding mines in the ground. So yeah, my brother sent me a bunch of those. And I think, of course, I have somewhere. I'll put it somewhere. The famous Russian ship go F yourself. There we go. That's became a classic. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I talked to my brother another day, and my father doesn't feel really well. Like he's really bad. Well, he's just getting old. So, and of course, with all those rockets and everything else, so it's definitely a lot of stress going on for my family. So yeah, but Phil, once again, if you want to mail, I can show, and I'll send you back if you want to keep them. There's no problem. So, question from Michael. So today it looks like a lot of people like to listen, and not a lot of questions coming up. Can you expand on why Russians are unable to wait in a line or a queue? Well, I mean, Soviet people came up with a lot of technologies how to maintain long lines, long waiting lines. A lot of you send your children to take turns because mom is cooking. Numbers on the hands, people with the list, like some serious waiting lines, like for furniture. Like people would literally sometimes will have like shifts. They'll be by the store from early morning till late evening till closing, and they'll have an official list of people who is on waiting for a couch to arrive because or the store itself will maintain some kind of list. So I don't know about modern day Russians. They're probably losing that culture of being patient in the line, but my goodness, I cannot tell you. I wish I kept the track how many hours of my life I wasted to be in line, mostly in the village for bread. 3 times a week, I had to go and stay there for like hour, 2 hours before bread truck arrives so we can buy some bread. A question: why Nikita Khrushchev so poorly regarded? On the list of leaders, he was very low in popularity. Well, there's a lot of reasons. Main reason, of course, it's for the people who in love with Stalin, because Khrushchev pretty much knocked the Stalin off the pedestal. We had two Jesuses, Lenin or dead Jesus, and then Stalin was live. Like, we had God and his son, Jesus Stalin. But Khrushchev is like, okay, I don't have room for two Jesuses, dead Jesuses, so we're going to have only one, Lenin. So he did a lot to dismantle the whole cult of personality of Stalin. So that's one main reason for that reason. And then, of course, a lot of people just don't understand economics. And, Soviet Union, before the World War II, or Great Patriotic War, was preparing for war. Pretty much Stalin threw not under the bus, but under the tank, everything to prepare the country for war. He wasn't ready for the war that when someone attacks Soviet Union, he was prepping for the war when Soviet Union gonna attack and roll over the Europe, taking advantage of France, Germany, and Britain fighting and exhausting each other. So when the Khrushchev took power, this whole country was pretty much was in ruins, and all the industry what existed was to make more weapons. So he was trying to solve the problem how to feed people. And he still believed that there's a way to micromanage everything so people will produce more food. All that corn disaster fiasco, that he went to visit the United States and he was so impressed with corn because corn it's way more productive, higher like energy food than wheat or rye that was grown in the Soviet Union. So he thought he found solution for the Soviet food problem. Of course, corn is a great animal feed, but it's a different story why he decided. He was told that Russia, like Soviet Union, mostly like Canada, they don't grow much corn in Canada, or used to not to grow much. So they tried to grow corn everywhere in Soviet Union. Of course, it was giant fiasco. Like even in Ukraine, in northern Ukraine, you couldn't grow corn. The growing season was just too short, and the only reason they grow corn is for the animal feed. Like they cut corn still green in September, and they put it in silo to feed animals. So he had these big fiascos that kind of put the black mark on him. And of course, next leader Brezhnev, that was pretty much a coup, Soviet style. It wasn't like people said, "Hey, we don't like Khrushchev, we want to elect Brezhnev," right? It was just this Kremlin uh, thing going on, and of course, Brezhnev, it was in his interest, in order to justify the coup, was to make Nikita look bad, and they successfully did that because it's when you have a conversation, people who miss Soviet Union, they always talk about how much they think damage was done by Khrushchev and Gorbachev, these two guys that did the most damage to the Soviet Union. It's a lot of this well prepared propaganda on the Soviet side. And it's impressive because if you think about it, the most famous achievements of the Soviet Union, they occurred under Khrushchev. First satellite, all that space race, Gagarin, first woman in space, like all these giant achievements that everyone knows about it happened when Khrushchev was the leader of the Soviet Union, but they managed to kind of push it down and just bring this, silly corn, because his nickname was Kukuruznik, the corn man. And of course, that Caribbean crisis. So that's I think was a well planned Soviet propaganda to make Khrushchev look bad, so it will make Brezhnev look better. All right, we got a couple more donations. Thank you so much. Hey, we got New Zealand join. Wow, I wonder what time is it in New Zealand right now, but thank you for joining. What an amazing thing is internet, right? Right now we have Argentina, New Zealand, a lot of people from the United States, definitely, but that's pretty cool. So another my generous support and viewer Koala, thank you for your donation. Didn't the Soviet Union used to have 16 republics? Yes, I'm planning to make a video about it because it's actually really interesting. if you look at the right angle at that situation, so it was created, I believe, in 1940. So after Soviet Union attacked Finland in 1939, they planned to occupy the whole country. They created Soviet Finnish government with this girl's husband. So, and they were helping pretty much Finnish workers to get rid of the capitalists and have another Soviet republic. So there was supposed to be a Finnish Soviet republic. They couldn't do it, so they made peace with Finland, and of course, in Stalin's mind, it was a temporary thing. And as a preparation for the next invasion, they created Karela Finnish Soviet Social Republic. So for a while, Soviet Union indeed had 16 republics. I never remember, like when I went in school in 70s, 80s, they never talked about it. So there was just like a kind of hush hush, always 15 republics, 15 republics. And then it's another thing what Khrushchev did, and that's I think why a lot of people in the West, we never used that word in Soviet Union, but in the West, a lot of tankies, a lot of people like big fans of communism, they call Khrushchev that he is not the conformist. There's a word. See, I have a brain fart right now. So anyway, that he is, anybody can come up with, that's the word that they describe Khrushchev, that he basically betrayed Stalin and he changed the direction. And what he did, he basically gave up on the concept of Stalin that the way we're going to spread socialism and communism. Hey, there is. He's a revisionist. Thank you. That's the word. He is the revisionist. So he revised the whole concept how the socialism, communism is going to spread, because there was from day one, Lenin, Stalin, they planned to have Trotsky. Socialism needs to win everywhere, otherwise we're not going to win. So he revised that concept, and he decided, okay, it won't be military kind of occupation and installing Soviet governments. We're going to compete with the West, and we're going to show the rest of the world how much socialism is better. Because look, we sent a satellite in space before capitalism, so socialism is better, right? So Khrushchev closed down the Karela Finnish Republic. He said it doesn't make sense to have it. It's just extra money, because the plan was to get the whole Finland wrapped up into this Karela Finnish Republic, but they failed to do it. And another fact, I didn't know about it or don't remember, that apparently a part of Austria was occupied by Red Army all the way into the 50s, until 56 or 55. So only when Khrushchev became a leader of Soviet Union, he agreed to remove troops, because there was another, they were like trying to wait and see if they can continue expansion. So this is what Khrushchev did. He changed a lot of this concept. So now it's a peaceful competing with America, although it went too far when Khrushchev got mad when Americans put their nuclear missiles in Turkey. So Khrushchev decided to give them a taste of the same medicine. Hey, we got 100 people join me tonight. That's amazing. I don't remember for a while been that much. So if you do hit the likes, see we can do 100 likes along with 100 viewers. So this is what Khrushchev did. So from taking over the world by military might and installing Soviet governments and socialism, we're going for peaceful competition to prove that we are better. That's Khrushchev concept. Then Brezhnev went another step back. So we'll call it back, right? Your revision. He said we can practice a peaceful coexistence. So it's a мирное сосуществование. So we had taken over the world, peaceful competition, and then peaceful coexistence. So like we're cool. You can do your capitalist thing, we'll do our socialist thing, and we can trade and have agreements. So that was the final stage. And then Gorbachev said, well, we're going to actually rebuild the whole thing here, and oopsie, and the Soviet Union is no more. But I said in this brochure Perestroika, he talked about that it's socialist way perestroika. We're not returning to capitalism. But I think it's a good thing to discuss. I'll make a separate video about this mystery 16th Republic, because yeah, that was the whole thing. It was pretty much, yeah, we're gonna set up the basement and then we're gonna build the house after we occupy Finland. And I got another donation from Florida, Jake. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. That joke about painting of the three minor. So Jake is talking about really dirty humor. I have to repeat. I guess you have that Russian Soviet sense of humor, because I noticed I quit making videos about jokes and anecdotes in Soviet Union because people like I can't deliver well, but I might as well tell you this joke again that Jake is talking about, and of course, as appreciation of his generous donation. So, socialist art, right? Socialist realism. So, one of the things that Soviet government did, like, okay, we're not painting portrait like used to be. In order for the artists to survive, they have to paint rich people or their girlfriends or wives, laying, posing, and then maybe on the side he'll do some pretty, paintings of landscape or others. Socialist realism, you painting workers, you painting coal miners, and so on, right? So this joke goes, this guy brings, and of course you can't just make a painting and you present it or sell it. It needs to be approved by special commission. So he brings this painting, and the commission look at it like, and it's like three naked black guys standing, on the picture, and the commission's like, how that relates to the Soviet workers and realism? You have three black guys. And he's like, comrades, those are coal miners. It's they came for lunch break, so they change in to have lunch. The Soviet coal miners. They're like, oh, okay, we'll buy that. But one like looking close, like, wait a minute. Oh, no, never mind. So they finished working, and now they're getting ready to shower after a long day in the coal mine. So they covered with coal dust. That's why they're black and naked, because they're about to step in a shower. And one guy's like, wait a minute, but why one of the guys has a white penis? He's like, oh, well, that guy went home for lunch. So that's the joke he's talking about. Yeah. I'm glad you liked it, because, yeah, in Russian, it sounds way funnier, but yeah, that was hilarious. Joshua can join. We're doing good. Saturday is fine. It's a beautiful day in Michigan. It's 38 degrees, warm, green grass, no sign of snow. Oh, we got Milan, Italy. Buongiorno. Got Finland. I got another donation from Fiona. Thank you so much. A novel written by non-Russian has a family listening to the Voice of America in small town in Siberia in 1969. Could they get a signal even? Also watching US moon landing on Soviet TV. I definitely doubt that they showed moon landing on Soviet TV. I need to research on that, but I truly doubt. Now, about Voices of America, they were transmitting on the short waves, and actually it was easier to get. I believe it's possible, and it was actually better. You could get better reception being out of in the country far away than from big cities, because every big city was surrounded by special towers that created the interruption, like a signal. They call it glushilka. It's a Russian word. So they were like creating noise on the same frequency where the radio transmission was going on in order to make it. And it was really hard in Kiev, Moscow, to catch the signal on short waves. But out in Siberia, I believe it was possible. I'm not 100% sure, but out in the country, out in Mukhasransk, it was way easier to catch. And I have if you missed by any chance, I will post the link because I have a video about it called Enemy Voices. The link is coming up. Enemy Voices struggle against fake news in the Soviet Union. Okay, we're almost at 100 likes. We need 6 more likes and we will be at 100 likes. So this is the link and below the comments about the enemy voices. And I think short waves, they go far away. They may had some kind of, can't think of any countries nearby that could have a retranslators, but I know, I mean, we were getting signal from, I mean, Western Europe, and I have a couple of my subscribers that are in like shortwave radios. They probably can explain better, but I believe they could. Not 100% sure though. Hey, we got another old-time subscriber, my supporter, Svetlana. Hello, I'm late to the party, but to find Soviet jokes, she finds Soviet jokes really funny. And thank you so much for your donation. And of course, I have to show it once again. This is the present that I got from Svetlana from UK. And this is exactly the same camera, Kiev 19, that I used to have coming to America in 1995 and all those years. All the pictures I took, it was exactly the same model. It's the same year. Unfortunately, the camera I had, my brother sold it. It broke, had issues, but here it goes. Heck yeah. And I think they started making special kits you can insert and have a digital pictures taken with old film cameras. So when it become reasonable, I'm planning to buy one because yeah, this is a real deal, solid camera. So yeah, thank you so much. But yeah, I might try to do another. I think I maybe need to have a little vodочка, then I can do some videos about Soviet humor. Because sometimes there's a joke like, man, I want to share, and then like, oh, you're some people saying like the way I present jokes is just too flat. So anyway, okay, so let's see. Yeah, we got 108 likes, more likes than people. So that's awesome. So question, how was social democratic parties in Europe viewed? Were they seen as better as more right-wing parties or just as bad? Or somehow worse than being fake left? Well, it depends on the time period because you see, in the early stages, like during Stalin, they actually hated social democrats because the whole concept was that capitalism by itself, it's pretty much like a pressure cooker, right? The greedy capitalist will be making workers' life worse and worse, but in the same, so the profits go up, people's lifestyle conditions go down, and it creates the revolutionary situation. So the pressure cooker, by its design, it will have pressure rising, right? So social democrats is the pressure relief valve. They fight, struggle to get better conditions for workers, and by getting them better pay, less working hours, overtime, benefits, stuff like that, they release the pressure from the pressure cooker, which in its turn destroys the whole hope of the Soviet Union that the pressure cooker gonna blow up, we have another revolution, and we're gonna take over. So social democrats for a long time were looked worse than anybody else. They would prefer like Nazi party to be in Germany because they will create explosion. And half of the Germany became socialist because Hitler ended up taking power, not social democrats. And so that depends on which time period you're looking at. Later, when they decided to have a peaceful coexistence, then of course they prefer social democrats because they were more friendly to the Soviet Union. Let's trade, let's exchange. But during Stalin, they thought they were the worst. Florida Jake, my goodness, my man, thank you so much. You are the man tonight. Feeling generous, I appreciate it. I will raise a separate shot of vodka for you tomorrow night when I celebrate New Year. One last one before I hop off here and I turn it for the day. Soviet jokes, in a way, kind of reminds me of some of the old trucker jokes. It's a similar type of humor and it's the same anecdotal style. I will leave one in the comments for you. Thanks. Yeah, I'm trying to think about any truckers jokes. Can't think of. I've definitely had some. It's probably relates to the girls and the truckers. So, but anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and being so generous. I appreciate your support. Okay, and see, we got another donation from my friend Koala. And his question: were there instances of the Soviet citizens trying to get asylum to the US by crossing the Bering Straits to Alaska? I heard of 2 Russians who successfully done it to escape mobilization 2022. It's a great question. I really doubt because uh, it's, more people try to do it in Crimea Peninsula, because if you manage to cross the Black Sea in Turkey, and it's way easier. It's in the kind of European part. Just to get to to Chukotka, this is one heck of a trip. And I bet you those areas were so scarcely populated, and Soviets probably, Soviet government would put some system in place, border guards, so they will they'll see that you arrived for no reason way before. So it's just logistically what's really near to impossible to get there to the tip that you can cross. So I never heard anybody doing it. Maybe locals if they get sick and tired of but not people who really want to escape. Like Crimea, it was way more often occurred is people trying to came, like they came as a tourists, and then they get into the Robert Dingy and trying to get away. So that was more common way of trying to escape Soviet Union. But though, why would you want to try to escape paradise? Okay, let's see what else we got. We have about 5-10 minutes. Got Italy, we got Michigan, of course. Need to have some Michigan people here. What's the difference between churches in Ukraine and Russia? Well, now there is a difference. It used to be everything was officially under Moscow, and I'm not a religious person, never went to church, although I'm baptized. Uh, so the Moscow Patriarchate, I don't know how to say it in English. So the corporation was located in Moscow, the church corporation. I was in charge of everyone who is a pravoslavny, so Christians, all the Christians in the Soviet Union were part of the Moscow Patriarchate. So even in Kiev, all the churches were technically under Moscow rule. And then when Ukraine became independent, then came the question, and then we had other churches which not related to that pravoslavia, so the Slavic Christianity. So out in the West, there were some Catholics, and there were some other type of churches. So they had different managers. But when Ukraine became independent, eventually there was a question: okay, can we have our separate corporation? They'll put it that way. And they went down to Constantinople. I'm sorry, it's called Istanbul, right? Um, and they talked to main corporation, and they received permission several years ago. And I think Moscow was really pissed about it. So basically, they allowed, so the Christian main church synod of all the Christian churches, they allowed Ukraine to have their own Ukrainian branch. Let's put it this way, branch. So now they say, okay, your Moscow branch for Russia, and then there's a Kiev branch for Ukraine. And that's when Russia got so pissed, because they lost right away giant way of controlling population, because through the church they could do their propaganda. They could, let's pray for the Russian troops in Ukraine to win. So on the religious part, there's no difference. It's just now money. If people donate money, they stay in Kiev church. They don't go to Moscow. So that's my understanding. But I said, but don't take my word as a gold coin, because I'm not a religious person. We also have even Brazil here, so that's awesome. Actually, right now, that video I made about Brazil, the soap opera from Brazil, that one, there's a lot of Brazilian viewers came, and I had a lot of interesting comments. If you missed that video by any chance, I'll post the link right now. Although a lot of people got upset that I called that show cheesy. So that was the very first soap opera or show showed in the Soviet Union, and it's really like blew up the country. Soap opera. Okay. And let's see if we got. Okay, I got a message from Michelle, that the one that sent me a card. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate your support. I see you commenting quite often on my channel, and thank you for your support. You got my T-shirt too, I know. So yeah, thank you so much, and Happy New Year as well to you. So yeah, I showed your card. I got your card. Thank you so much. Okay, there's a comment from Rob. Sergey, congrats, my Russian friend, Ukrainian friend. I used to do, like I wrote in my book, I don't know if you missed it or not, I have two books, 95 and 96. Uh-oh. This is when I was still young and single. So when I came in 95, hardly anyone knew what Ukraine was, and I got sick and tired of explaining every time what it means to be Ukrainian. I give up, and I literally was telling everyone I'm Russian. And yeah, now of course it looks bad with all the events, but I think even in my book on the title it says "Adventures of the Russian Student." But yeah, back then it was, it just, I was saying Ukrainian. They're like, you know what? Yeah, Adventures of the Russian Student, Michigan. It was Russian speaking, but yeah. Anyway, so I've been always fascinated with Russia and the USSR, and you tell the best stories and anecdotes. Looking forward for another great year. Thank you so much. We got sister here. Happy New Year to you too. I still think Lenin the father and Stalin the son is a remarkable topic for the show. I think, yeah, I can look at it, but you know what's interesting? If you look at the Soviet era poster from Stalin era, they were slowly, so in the beginning it was the Lenin face and a Stalin face behind. At some point faces changed, and Lenin was kind of fading away and Stalin was getting bigger and bigger. So that's how they worked. And it was pretty much, they were calling father was Stalin. The level of this whole cult of personality during the Stalin era was just outstanding. It's just bizarre, but probably the same thing happened in China with Mao. Okay, so we have finally somebody caught a live stream with Ushanka. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's 111 people. That's pretty impressive. So there's comment about Austria. This is why Austria is neutral. That was the deal. That's correct. So yeah, Khrushchev said, yeah, we'll get the troops out. Austria needs to be neutral, which is okay. What does the neutral means? Is Portugal neutral, or Spain? It's the sort terminology is about being neutral, But yeah, that's what the Khrushchev did, being revisionist. Thank you so much for supporting, helping me with that word. Is he basically changed this whole? We still need to continue fighting. And I wonder if anybody explored the whole idea or concept. What would happen if it was actually Stalin, Soviet Union had a nuclear bomb before United States had? I wonder if anybody could think what would happen in the world, like what was going on in the Western Europe. Just picture that only Stalin had a nuclear bomb. What would happen? Like we all, in Soviet Union, they always like, whoa, look, once United States got nuclear bomb, they decided they can own the world, they can dictate anybody what to do. And I was like, what would happen? Do you think Stalin will be just like, boo, scaring people, or he will be dropping nuclear bombs as he keep on making them to make force his will? And so yeah, that's actually pretty interesting, scary question. Oh, the question, we got a viewer from, I believe you said he's from Russia. Yeah, привет, России. So can anybody answer his question? Have you met Americans who are idolizing the Soviet Union? Yes, my friend, yes. And kids and teenagers and adults. And recently I posted, there's a professor who in Pennsylvania and she wrote the whole book. And actually, that book got translated into Russian language. And the book is why under socialism women had better sex. So that's can't get any more idealizing Soviet Union is a statement that socialism makes sex better. Like this is so beautifully. I was like, I can't believe. So yeah, that's the book. Let me see. I'll just go on really quick on Amazon for you. I'll get you the link and you can look. Socialism, better sex. So the lady who never lived in the Soviet Union, the Kristen Gotzi. I love the cover. The cover of the book is outstanding. Link is coming up. I didn't read the book, and I have to tell you one big secret. I never was a woman in the Soviet Union. I always played the male role, so I cannot tell you about women's having better orgasm in the Soviet because of the socialism. Okay. Come on. I'm trying to post, but some reason doesn't want to. Huh. Not sure what's going on here. So yeah, that's the level. So even there's a professors out there. I mean, she's a professor. She's not like just a random guy. Doesn't want to shoot. Anyways, I'll do it a different way. But yeah, this is I think this is the extreme case. I just put the name of that book. That's why it doesn't want it. And I said I was shocked to find out it was translated in a bunch of languages, including Russian language. And when I posted that name, that book title in some of groups, people had a good laugh because, well, give you an example. Like, think about my mother. Like, after she's done with work, leaving at 5 p.m. her work, she just don't go home. And of course, she needs to hit a couple of stores because one grocery store maybe have bread but don't have butter. Another grocery store, which is sells fruits and vegetables, maybe have potatoes but don't have carrots. So on the way from work, she needs to stop at different places to see what can be she needs to buy. And of course, she carries those bags, so she has no car, and you still need to walk even if you use public transportation. So she arrives home by 6 o'clock, say this and that, and then she needs to cook. Everything was made from scratch. We didn't have pre-made meals, no frozen pizzas, no TV dinners. Everything had to be cooked from scratch, like fried potatoes. So if you won't feed your bread, my mom hated cooking, but she cooked because she had to cook for family. So after working all day, then cooking in the kitchen, then this and that, then she'll be ready for great socialist sex. I really don't think so. And then of course, laundry was done mostly by hand by people. So all that, my dad will help with vacuuming, this and that, but yeah, all cooking was done by her. So I really don't know about better sex than the socialism. And then of course, whole hygiene thing. Well, my dad showered daily because of work, but usually guys would shower once a week. So if you work some sweaty work, and anyways, let's not go there. So all right, so we got a couple more donations. So there's the first question from one of my channel members, Aaron. He is my member, my channel for 22 months. So thank you so much. We're gonna celebrate 2 years since you joined my channel. Will more Ukrainians grow up speaking Ukrainian? Well, obviously, if Ukraine will stand the ground and push Putin away, it's what's going on. That's one of the reasons why Putin started the war. He was afraid that Ukraine drifting away, not like towards the West, towards being an independent country, towards people not sharing the same culture and standards and ideals as Russia. So yeah, over the years, once you switch schools to Ukrainian language, it's just a question of time when everything else will switch. And they cut out Russian television because before it was literally, over the air. Even Ukraine became an independent country. There were showing Russian TV channels. There'll be still first channel, second channel, then you go, there'll be 2, 3 Ukrainian channels. So the Russian influence was huge, and the cultural influence, music, movies, everything over all those years. And once Ukraine tried to kind of limit that, that's when Putin like, no, we're actually planning to incorporate you back into the Russia. So it's definitely changed. I notice when I go to Ukraine, before more and more people speak Ukrainian, my family still speaks Russian, but it's definitely changing. And a lot of my schoolmates, people who spoke Russian, they switched to Ukrainian. Even some, they are Russians by nationality. Their parents came from Russia, but they switched to Ukrainian language. So yeah, it is going on. Another donation from Testy Treki. Since Ukraine hit Belgorod, will the things get worse? Well, according to Ukraine, they didn't hit Belgorod. There was the poor work of Russian anti air defense. This is pretty much classic excuse of Russians when they hit Kiev or other Ukrainian city. They'll blame that it's the actually Ukrainian missiles fell. So when they try to shoot down the drones, so I guess Russia got same kind of flavor, same medicine. Ukrainians usually don't hit the targets in like civilian targets, which was in recent huge attack on Ukraine. They hit Kiev, Lviv, and other cities. It was like a punishment for hitting the big ship in Crimea. So that's what Russia does all the time, terrorizing population. I don't think things can get any worse. I mean, next level of worse will be uh, pretty much it's a nuclear started sending nukes to Ukraine, but of course I doubt Putin will do that because he has a young girlfriend and 3 kids with her. So I don't think he wants to end the world. But it's already as bad as it can get. So yeah. Another donation from Koala. Hope you and your family in Ukraine have a great new year. Well, definitely in Ukraine is not that great. I'm about to watch a very long, boring movie from Soviet Armenia, Colors of Pomegranate for that day. Okay, well, enjoy the show. Long and boring, those are the best ones. Comment from Shig Shag. Thanks for sharing what communism socialist was in the Soviet Union. Well, it was socialism. We never reached the communist stage. That's one of the major mistakes or misunderstanding. Communism is next stage of the socialism. We were still in a socialist stage. When you reach communism, there's no more money. It's like economy is so developed, productive forces so developed, you don't need money anymore. You just go to the store, you take what you need. So that's your communism. We got a $2 donation with the comment says poopy butt. Okay. Somebody named fart gas. Interesting. So the question, kibbutz farms, was that a topic? They had communism already while the Soviet Union was still on the way. Well, every collective farm was a kind of like attempting to do a kibbutz, but they brought a bunch of people that didn't want to work there. That's the difference. Kibbutz is the people who volunteer to go there and work. So you have like a small, tight-knit community. Here they came with, Red Army came to the village and, okay, you're making collective farm, bring your horses, bring your, cows, and now you're going to work together and nothing doesn't belong to you. So this is kind of how the collective farms were created, but the general concept is the same. Nothing belongs to anyone, it belongs to everyone, and then after you're done, in a year, everyone get paid if we have any money left. I gave you $2 so you can say poopy butt. Okay, poopy butt. When you get broke, making people saying poopy butt for $2, but sure. I used to work for $2. I used to work all night selling vodka and Snickers chocolate bars for $2 a night from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. So I can say poopy butt for $2 and I won't feel like I sold my soul. So anyways, on a hypothetical communist society, there'll be a state or not? So that's a good question. Another stage, no money and no government. You basically, it's like absolute anarchy. We're doing so good. We have plenty of everything. So it's like a paradise, right? It's just, things are being made by robots or whatever. And we just, stay busy by creating art or entertain ourselves, explore new worlds, stuff like that. So yeah, there's no government. No one tells anyone what to do. It's just, yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, I'm started losing my voice. We're already over an hour. I really appreciate everyone joining, and we probably will have another live shortly. S- in- It'll be next year because we are. Let me see what we got current. Right now we have 96,864. So we need only 136 more subscribers, and that'll be 97,000. So probably next year. I might do a little live tomorrow just for my members. I'm not sure if my wife will let me, but anyway, I would like to thank everyone for joining tonight. С Новым годом, с новым счастьем, Happy New Year. I hope next year will be better for everyone, especially for people in Ukraine. And once again, thank you so much for joining. I'll check your comments. If I find some questions that deserve a good video, I'll do the video. So yeah, с Новым годом, с новым счастьем, спокойной ночи. До свидания, goodbye.